The Feiyu Scorp Mini 2 has just been announced, and this 3-axis gimbal really surprised me. It is a hybrid gimbal, so as you can see, you can use it with smaller DSLR style cameras, of course also with your smartphone, but also with your action camera. It does have an integrated handle, which is perfect for low mode, and it also has some AI features, which we will test at the end of this video, so make sure you stick till the end. But now let's get started. Alright, welcome back everybody. In case you're new here, welcome. I'm super excited to have you. My name is Julian and I'm the creator of Smartphone Filmmaking Pro. And on this channel we talk about content creation with our smartphones and all kinds of accessories. So if that's interesting for you, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Unboxing and packaging content. Inside the box you get a very nice carrying case which is super sturdy and which offers lots of protection. Inside you, surprisingly enough, find the gimbal itself. You find a phone holder, a bunch of different plates which you can use to mount your DSLR style camera, as you can see right now, or you can also mount your action camera and also your smartphone, and you can also switch from vertical to horizontal shooting, but I'll show you how that works later in this video. And you also get a GoPro action cam style mount and a table tripod to put down the gimbal on the ground, as you can see right now. I also got the extension pole which you can mount at the bottom of the gimbal to get some interesting drone type shots. And inside of the box you also get all kinds of cables and connectors, and to be honest, more than you will ever need, and also a counterweight and a small wireless light. The gimbal feels well built and overall very solid. I guess most of it is still plastic, but it doesn't feel flimsy or bad quality at all. What I like most is how ergonomically friendly everything is. For my hands and for me personally, the grip has the perfect size, or basically rather both of the grips have the perfect size, and everything feels lightweight and overall great to hold. When I first unboxed the gimbal, it took me a couple of minutes to find out everything, like how everything is working, as I'm not used to using this, dual grip handle style of gimbals. But now after using it for a couple of days, switching from a phone to a mirrorless style camera just works within seconds, and overall it's very easy and fast to do that. The design of the gimbal is a bit different compared to most gimbals, as this one does have the dual grip design. You can use the gimbal just fine just holding it with one hand, but when you're using it with two hands you just get the full control and the full experience. The way I like to use it is I like to place my right hand on the main grip and the left hand on the extension grip, and there, by the way, you can also find a small screen which all the information and the menu and basically everything. There you will also find a joystick, a record button and a menu button that you can use. First of all, I just like this dual grip design because it's just, as I mentioned before, just very ergonomically friendly, and you can also distribute the weight not only on one hand but on two hands. And probably the coolest feature, I'm just checking if I'm in the right mode, which is the pan F mode, the pan follow mode. And now if I wanted to shoot in low mode, basically I just need to do this move right here and I'm ready to shoot in low mode without having to bend down that much. And yeah, it's just a super easy transition, super cool, just very ergonomically friendly. And this is, in my opinion, the biggest benefit of having a design like this. At the front of the gimbal, you can find a wheel which you can use with just a finger to electronically pan, tilt or roll the gimbal. And there you will also find an FPV button. Press that once and guess what? You are in FPV mode. Balancing. When I was using the Scorp Mini 2, it took me a few minutes to know how everything is working. But once I knew which plates I need to use, the setup time now is super fast, and also switching from a DSLR style camera to my phone is just super fast. Let me show you how you can balance a smartphone, as this is the easiest in my opinion. All you need is the phone mount, and then you basically just slide that in and make sure that it locks in, so make sure that you secure it. At the moment, all axes are still locked, so what I would recommend is to unlock all the axes, balance them just one at a time, and then move to the next one. The goal is that the smartphone or the camera, depending on what you're using, stays in its position without falling over. Feiyu does have a more in-depth video on their website and also on the YouTube channel showing you step by step how this works, so if you are struggling, make sure to check out their video. After you're done balancing, just turn on the gimbal and then go into the menu at the top left where it says motor power. Click on that and then go to auto tune. Make sure that you place the gimbal on a steady surface and then just turn it on and let the motors do its things, and then it will basically just balance itself, or just calibrate itself to the strength that it needs. Final results. All right, so now let's talk about the most important thing, and that is the final results. Like, what do they actually look like? So far, the gimbal has done great, but all of that doesn't matter if the final results are not steady and stuttering around. And luckily, what I can tell you is the final results, they do look very good. I have been using this gimbal with my iPhone 15 Pro, the S23 Ultra, and also with the Canon R8, as you can see right now, and I got some fantastic results with all three different devices. The combo that you can see right now with the Scorp Mini 2 and the Canon R8 and the 16mm lens, this is an absolute dream combination for real estate, for example. I have just recently been using this, and it's just super lightweight. The stabilization is amazingly fine, and you can just get absolutely amazing results. One thing that I always recommend is to do the ninja walk, like when you're shooting with a 3-axis gimbal, to get rid of the up and down movement. Make sure when you're shooting to bend your knees to just dampen the up and down movement and to get rid of that. The menu of the Scorp Mini 2 is very easy to navigate. At the top left, as mentioned before, there you can auto tune the different motors, and you could also tweak them manually if you wanted to. At the top right, you can dial in the overall speed of the gimbal, and I personally like to keep that at slow because for me this just delivers the smoothest shots. At the bottom left, you have all the different modes. You can change between pan tilt follow, pan follow, the locked mode, FPV, and then you also have the FFW mode. And if you're like me, you probably don't know what that mode is. You've never heard of that before, and that was the same for me. And as I've been testing it out, it sort of is like a sports mode. It basically unlocks all the different axes, so it's basically like the FPV mode, but on top of that, it is super responsive. So if you're moving around, if you're filming anything sporty, this will be the mode to go. And now coming back to the menu, at the bottom right, you can access a couple of cool features such as time-lapse, the full 360-degree spin shot. You can let the gimbal do a panoramic shot like completely automatically for you. You can let the gimbal switch over to portrait mode, selfie mode, and you can also access the track video. If you swipe up from the bottom, you can also change the function of the wheel at the front. So this one right here, if you don't want it to be tilting or panning, you can also change that there as well. All right, so as I already mentioned at the beginning of the video, the Feiyu Scorp Mini 2 does also have some built-in AI features, and now I would say let's just test them out. So as you can see, currently I have my iPhone 15 Pro in the gimbal, and it's not doing anything. If I'm moving around, basically nothing is happening. So the first thing that I want the gimbal to do is to track myself, and I can basically just activate this by doing this hand gesture right here. Now the light at the front of the gimbal turned green, so it should be following me around. But now the only problem is that the iPhone is not recording, so you can't see myself. To change that, I could of course turn around and press the record button on the iPhone or on the gimbal, or I could also just do this hand gesture right here. Now it's counting down, and I think now it should have started the recording. And now if I'm moving around, you can see that it's following me around. And basically if I'm just by myself, filming myself, also if I'm outdoors, I could use this very easily to also move around. And especially if I'm using a wireless microphone system like I'm doing right now, this is very handy. If, for example, I'm not happy with the framing, I could also change that. Let's see if that's working. Basically, all I gotta do is this hand gesture right here, then change my position, do this again, and now it has changed the framing and it is still working just fine. I think that is working very nice. Let's say I'm done filming, or I just wanna go back to the gimbal so that it's not following me around forever. Basically, all I gotta do is this hand gesture right here, and then it stops tracking me. So overall, the AI features are working super fine, super nice, and yeah, it's very cool to have this in your toolkit. So in conclusion, the Scorp Mini 2 is a fantastic gimbal for anyone that wants to have one gimbal for any scenario. It does work great with smartphones. You can easily use the smartphone with the case and with add-on lenses or filters and so on. That's no problem at all. As I mentioned before, I also really enjoyed using it with a mirrorless camera, and the results that I got, they were pretty amazing with the smartphone and also with this setup right here. For me personally, this has been my first dual grip design gimbal, and I gotta say I really enjoyed using it, and especially for the low angle shots. I noticed that I have been using low angles just so much more compared to any other gimbal basically. I will link this gimbal down below if you want to check it out for yourself. And in case you're thinking about making some extra money with your smartphone, then make sure to also check out our quiz that we have recently launched, where you can answer 12 questions and and you will get a customized report to see if you're ready to start your own personal side hustle with just your smartphone. So make sure to check this out, and I'll talk to you in the next one.